So what we're doing here is we have a really neat opportunity for us. This vacant building that was a restaurant has came up and they're allowing us to do some training in it, which doesn't happen for us very often. So when we get that opportunity to train in a real situation, it's really important. So what we're doing here is we're going over commercial structure fires, which is something that we don't see a lot of, thankfully, but when we do, we need to know how to respond to them, and it's a little bit different than residential. And what we're going over is both the first due and second due engine responsibilities, and then how to flake hose around tight corners and moving with a larger hose line. Because for a commercial structure, large fire, we're going to use larger hose, like a 2.5. Pretty much the reason why we're here today is to stretch hose through a commercial building and go over how we'd actually fight a live fire in it. So the reason why there's 2 trucks is luckily this part of the township is hydrated. So when there's 2 trucks, anytime that you have a fire this side, we're actually going to call what's called a box alarm, and we would land up having probably 15 trucks here if this thing was actually burning because of the fire load. The truck's only capable of putting out enough water to supply, or to put out enough water to put out so much fire. The second truck in this case, this first truck is what we call a lead or tack or a fighting engine. It's what we're actually pulling the hose off and going into the fire. The other one, because we have such low manpower on fire scenes, is going to supply water to it from the hydrant. So that's supplying this truck because we only have so much onboard water. And it's also doing what's called tagging the hydrant. So it's getting hydrant water to that truck, then supplying this one. And then it's going to supply the actual FDC, which is the fire department connection on the other side of the building, which supplies the sprinkler system. The sprinkler system is only really designed to flow through so many heads at one time. If we hook a fire truck to it, obviously we can pump more water in and be able to supply a lot more heads to really assist us. You know, because sprinkler heads put out a lot of fire. So hopefully it knocks it down before we can get in there. So what we've been doing with training is we've been really training very hard lately and trying to get it to where we train every day on shift, and then we paid on calls, train with the full-time multiple times a month and multiple times a week. And whenever we start with something, like this being kind of getting after commercial fires and having a building that we can actually do it in, we start ground level and we do it where we can see and we can talk about it and we can go over it. And then each time that we do it, we'll progress into those things where we'll be blacked out or have smoke in the building or make things a little bit harder, to where it's less instruction and more just doing and making it harder and more realistic each time. So we try to build on it every time for training. The next step, we will probably add smoke into the building, do some blackout scenarios, change the scenario up a little bit, and just make it a little bit harder on the guys. Hopefully we'll have a little more people here next time. We'll add some ladder operations, have the tower up, get on the roof. We'll be cutting holes in this roof. We'll be doing a lot more interior work. We'll probably set up some large diameter or large space search and rescue because it's a pretty big floor plan. There's a vast spectrum of people. There's everything from 6 months to one that's actually joining Fire Academy next in, I believe, January. Fire Academy starts, so she's kind of hanging out and seeing what's going on, to our assistant chief who's been here for pushing 40 years. So it's a little bit of everything. I think it went really well. It's hot out today, so I mean everybody's kind of getting kind of wore down, and we got to get stuff back on trucks and get them back in service, but it always goes well. It's a great group of guys, and we couldn't really ask to work with a better group of people than what we have here in Oxford.